I'm about to show you how I was able to get this mix to sound from sounding like this to sounding like this. This is what we're going to be covering today. You see? And also the mindset right there. So, the first thing I wanted to cover in this first video is mindset. And what do I mean by mindset? Is the mindset that hold us back as a music producer, artist, or audio engineer. So I have my note right down here on this board. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. Now, number one mindset I want you to break that's going to help you get a very good professional sounding mixes is the mindset of expensive gears. And I remember, when I was in the industry, I'm still in the industry, but I kind of take a little break. So, I used to think that for my music to sound professional like the ones we hear on the radio, I have to buy this, $15,000 gear, analog gear, and all that. Neve 1073 preamp, Tube Tech, all this $15,000, tube microphones, and high pristine precision, done analog conversion gears and stuff. And the audio industry, they kind of take advantage of our insecurity, just like the makeup industry took advantage of the women insecurity. How you tell them, oh, you need this to look beautiful, then the selling makeup, still selling makeup to today. And I think the audio industry did the same thing to us. And I was a victim of that too, until I realized that, man, I bought all this gears, I bought all these plugins, but my mix is still not getting better. And that's one of them. And the other stuff I want to talk about is the guarded secrets, because the generation before us, especially the hired guns, the ones that do the mixes that you really love for the major label, artists, they guard the secrets that is so hard out there to get any valuable information. We were taught by the school of the YouTube University because you go to YouTube, you trying to get information, and you spend thousands of hours researching all this information, and you will realize that there's something missing. It's not connected. There's a whole puzzle that's not connected together. You can't really understand, okay, what is the right process to get what I want? And I was in the same, boat until, now recently that I got out of that boat and I have the sound that I really love. And this is what this crash course is all about. It's a 5 video. The 5th video, I'm gonna show you the technical know-how, I'm gonna take you into the door and show you step by step how I got my mixes to sound from, sounding like an amateur and sound professional. So, but the first 4 videos, we're gonna talk about, important pillars and keys to set your mind right. But this mindset video is very important. This is kind of prep your mind to what we need to cover for the other videos. The second video is going to be vocal mixing techniques. So this first video, I want to cover some basics for you. The expensive gear, you got to get out of that boat. And also the audio industry lied to us to sell us more plugins and more analog gears, thinking, oh, this is what you need to get a professional sounding mix. That's another lie. And the third one is the guarded secrets. I just talked about that to get this information, you have to pay with your life. I mean, actually be a rookie or an intern for one of the grades and spend at least 2 to 5 years of your time and not getting paid before you can get this type of knowledge. Then the last topic I have here is no shortcut. And that's what I had to realize is there is no shortcut. If you want to be great, you want to be a great mix engineer, the one that make those type of mixes that is so super clean, is professional, and is emotional, and it invoke emotion from your audience. There is no shortcut. And you know what? You and I both know deep down, there's nothing that's great that you can get just easily. Well, we're still always looking for that cheat sheet, that template, that the preset, you know. There is no shortcut. You want to be great, you got to do the work. There's no other way around it. That's why the record label engineers, like, you know, the Pensados, the Jason Joshua, Man American, all of them, the Chris Lord RJ, for them to be able to give you the secrets that they've acquired for 20, 30 years, you have to serve them. You have to, you know, put in life, like your time of, you know, your age. You got to go in 20, come out 40 years old. Yeah, that's the way it is. And I'm 42 right now, and I've been searching for this knowledge for 20 years, I'm telling you. And I wish this type of classes and education was available for me when I was surfing through the internet looking for this information. And I didn't have 10 or 15 years to spend at the feet of a master, sensei, to get the knowledge. I was in the industry, I was recording artists, I was, you know, trying to get placement with major label artists. I had a studio in Burbank, I was doing all that. So I didn't have that time, even though I wouldn't mind doing it. Well, first of all, I couldn't find someone to do it with. And even if I did, I had to like make the, you know, a choice, a live choice is like, okay, do I stop my production company and the team that I'm with and go serve a master for 2 to 5 years or however long the master, you know, decide to give you this secret. So I took the hardest route. So I said, you know, I'm going to do this myself. And I'm still learning, but I'm way ahead, you know, compared to where I was before. I love my sound right now, and I'm gonna play you some before and after in this video so you can understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't like my sound, that's cool. You don't have to learn from me. But if you like what you hear, I'm ready to give it to you on a platter of gold. You don't have to serve me, sensei, for 15 years. So this is video 1. So video 2, we're gonna go into vocal mixing techniques. And before I wrap up this video 1, I want to talk briefly about the modern techniques of mixing. Just the foundation I want to talk about. So how I was able to get this mix that I'm talking about in this whole crash course for you to sound professional. And what I used to do back then that didn't work, and you know, the system that I've created right now that works for me, is you have to think in terms of color. And because we in the digital realm right now, and the engineers before us, they have a lot of color to play with. And they have techniques, they have color, they have all kinds of stuff. But what we're missing most of the time, the big thing I think we're missing right now in the digital realm is color. Our mixes they're too sterile, it's too digital, they don't have enough color to it. So you want to drill it into your mind that when you trying to get that sound that you fall in love with on the radio 10, 20 years ago or now, those sound, they have colors in them. They have multiple palettes of color. So you have to, on your mix bus, actually, I would advise you to fire up your mix bus right now and pull up a mix session that you want to work with, and let's go through it with the video 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and start to implement this and hear the differences. I want you to go on your mix bus right now, and you don't have to have any third-party plugins, but if you do, put a saturation plugin or a distortion plugin on your mix bus. And if the plugin has a dry and wet, turn it down to like 5% to 10% and just find a sweet spot between there. and pick any plugins that you have available to you. If you're on FL Studio, Logic Pro, Ableton Live, all the crap don't matter. You know, the engineers before us, they only have mixing board. You know, there is no DAW. The DAW is just ones and zeros. It doesn't have nothing to your sound, please. That's another me. You need to get off that boat. It don't matter what DAW you're using. They're computers, ones in, zero out. It doesn't have nothing to your sound. It's only just workflow. Okay, I prefer the workflow on this one. I prefer that to that one. That's it. So get off that boat too. So pick a saturation plugin or a distortion plugin, something that has color, you know. Put that on your mix bus right now. If you have maybe 2 different ones, put the 2 different ones. If you have just one, duplicate it twice. Between 5% and 10%. Add that to your mix bus. And if you have a multi-band compression, add it to your mix bus and set the ratio to 2:1. And, you know, slow attack, maybe like between 50 to 100 milliseconds of attack, and the release between 100 to 250 of release. And just pull down your ratio till you get like a dB or 2 reduction. That's your mix bus right there. Then EQ, you don't really need to do anything with EQ. Just trying to take off the super low and the super high, maybe a cut around 20 and 20K or 18K on the top. That's about it. And sometimes I like to cut out a little bit of maybe 180 hertz, just between 180 and 250, just dip it down a bit. You know, you don't have to do it, but you know, I do that sometimes. So that's it for video 1, man. I didn't want this to be long, but watch out for video 2. We're gonna start with vocal mixing, modern vocal mixing techniques. And video 3 is gonna be about drum mixing. Video 4 is gonna be about music mixing. And video 5 is, you know, the whole techniques of everything together. So see you in the next video. Make better sounding record. Bommy Solomon. I'm about to show you how I was able to get this mix to sound from sounding like this to sounding like this. All right, welcome back. This is video number 2. We're going to be talking about modern vocal mixing techniques. And the reason why every time you try to mix vocal, you fail. And I've been on that boat too. So now I'm about to give you everything you need to get up this boat. So this video this stuff that I showed you earlier, if you can see, we have the high, mid, low, left and right. And I have a crossover 160 hertz, 3.5K and 20K. So let's talk about this. The reason why you've been trying to mix vocal but it's not working out for you. There are 2 type of students that I meet every time I do a one-on-one. I have a one-on-one on my website. You can go check it out if you're interested. So there are 2 type of people, student that I work with. The producer, they record artists. Some of them, they record an engineer. Some of them just produce artists and they want to mix it themselves. And the other student is the artist who just buy beats online and wants to mix the vocal to the beat and release the song. So let's cover the artist first, because the artist, you know, their problem is a little smaller compared to the producer. Most of the time, you know, when an artist buy a beat in this day and age, you buy the beat online, you have 2 tracks, left and right, stereo, you don't have the stems. If you have the stems, that's good. I'll prefer you get the stems, but if you can't get the stems, so how do you mix your vocal to a beat and make them actually marry each other? Because the problem that most people go through, that I was going through, is either you mix the vocal, it's detached from the music. It's way too loud. It's like, in your face. Did I scare you? Don't worry. And the second one is you mix the vocal is way buried in the music. You can't hear it. Like it's drowning, trying to come out. Like I can't hear it. So the video one, we talk about colors. If you've done that, go watch that video number 1, and put whatever I told you on your mix bus, because that will help, everything going forward. Now, fire up your DAW again, because we're going to be working with the DAW right now. Fire up your DAW again right now. The vocals that you have, group them into a bus. Doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. If you don't know how to do it, go on YouTube and watch a tutorial. It's easy stuff. Make sure all your vocals, they're all going through one output. It could be an aux or a group. So they're all going through this particular vocal bus before they hit your mix bus, which we talk about in video 1. On this vocal mix bus, I want you to put the same thing that we put on the mix bus. Saturation plugin or distortion, anything that has color, 5 to 10%. 2, put it in there. And put another, you could put another multi-band compressor in there, and an EQ just in case. So now, most of the reason why when you mix your vocal, you don't get it to sound right is because, number 1, your vocal don't have enough color. Number 2, there is no space for your vocal in the music to stand out. So the concept is, if you have a plug-in, a frequency analyzer, put it on your master bus and solo the lead vocal and see where the frequency is hidden on the lead vocal on your span. Span is a frequency analyzer. If you don't want span, use another frequency analyzer that you have. And just pay attention to what those vocals are sitting. It could be around 1K, and 2K, 3K, or it could be around 400, 300 area, or it could be around 7K, 10K. You're gonna see, because vocals always have, 3 spots. Some vocal have 2 spots, but usually they should have 3 spots. Something in the mid-range, something in the lower mid, and something in the highs. If your vocals don't have that, use an EQ to boost something, all the 3 parts. Something in the lower mid-range, I give you frequency to work with. Like between 150 to around 500. That's your low mid right there. And the mid-range between 700 to 2.5K or 3K. In fact, probably between 700 to 3.5K. Something in that range, your vocals should be there. And the highs, something from 5K upward. 5K, 6K, 7K, 10K, something like that. And in video 5, I'm gonna be showing you exactly how I do this with the mix that I'm working with, so you can see how I do it. So I'm just giving you the concept to kind of give you the foundation. So once you do the vocal bus, you put the color, saturation, and all that stuff in there. Then figure out where is this lead vocal sitting frequency-wise. Once you figure that out, then figure out where your beat is sitting in frequency-wise. So the first one I've asked you to do is the mid-range. What is going on in the mid-range between 600, 700 to 4,000? I want you to make sure that between this range, the vocal and the beat, they are not clashing. Because most of the time, the beat has something in the mid-range that's overpowering the vocal. So what you want to do is find a spot in the beat where you can dip down so your vocal can poke through. That's the concept. Once you do that right now, you'll be able to see the difference. Like, for example, let's say your vocal is hitting around, the mid-range area is hitting around 1.5K, 1500, right? Or 2000. Then you go into your beat, you put an EQ on your 2-track stereo beat and just dip it down, maybe like 4 dB, and just dip it down. Don't make it too wide, maybe a little bit narrow, and just dip it down and listen to it. And pull it down, and your vocal will poke through in that mid-range. And you're trying to do the same for the highs. For the highs, I'll make the cue tighter. Then do the same for the highs and do the same for the low mid. Just a little bit, don't go too crazy, just a tiny, tiny notch to kind of dip the music so your vocal can poke through. So, or you could just do the mid-range and the highs and leave the low mid, because sometimes the music needs something in the lower mid to kind of drive the groove of the song. So lower mid, I'm talking about 500 downward. So experiment with that, and by the time we get to video 5, I'm surely gonna go into my DAW and you're gonna see how I do this, real life application of it. So this is the end of video 2. And actually, I want you guys to join my Facebook group if you have any questions, or we can keep the conversation going. Or if you want to get on a one-on-one class with me, I'll probably put a link on this page or somewhere, or go to my website, Giso Production, and just look for it. So this is the end of video 2. Bowman Solomon, Make Better Sound Record. I'm about to show you how I was able to get this mix to sound from sounding like this to sounding like this. Welcome back. This is video 3 right now. Going through this mono mixing crash course. So video 3, we're going to talk about drum mixing. And I remember video 2, I said we're going to talk about the producer. This is where the producer one comes in, because in video 2, an artist don't have stems, so they just work with the stereo track. But a producer has the stems, because I believe they make the beat themselves and record the artist. So you have the stems. So let's talk about the drums. The drums, you want to create the same thing we did for video 2. Send it to a bus and put the colors on it. Now, I want you to add a little bit of distortion plugin to it. If you have a distortion plugin, add some to it. If you don't, just use the saturation plugin. It doesn't matter. But we want to add a transient plugin to the drums, because we want our drums to punch through, to have that nice attack. If you have a transient plugin, put it on there and boost the attack part of it. But if you don't, there's another way you could do it if you don't have a transient plugin, which is you create a parallel chain to the drum channel and have a fast attack and a fast attack compressor, and pull down the release all the way to 5 dB. Another fast attack, a medium attack, put the attack to 10 to 20 milliseconds. Test 20 to 40, actually. It's between 10 to 20, between 10 to maybe 30 or 40. Then pull down your threshold down all the way to like -30, -40. So the compressor can grab the attack of the drums a lot. Then, boost a little makeup gain, and have this channel parallel to your drum channel. If you've done parallel compression, this is what I'm talking about. But if you don't have, this is because if you don't have a transient plugins, if you have, just use that. And sometimes you can even use both. Yeah, sometimes I do both. I put a transient plugin. I also do a parallel compression with a fast, with this type of attack, and had it parallel to your drum chain. And the EQ section of your drums bus, I will just take down a little bit of 500 and between 500 and 600 because the music and the vocal sits in their range. So I will duck that a little bit. Then if you want to take out a little bit on the low end and on the high end, like maybe sometimes you don't take anything out if you just want that big bottom end. But if you don't, if you want the bottom to be more controlled, I would take out maybe 25 hertz on the EQ, like a high pass, and a low pass on the top, maybe at 8K, and that will be fine for our drum. And what else we need to talk about? We put color in there. We had distortion, a transient plugin, and a palette compressor. Yeah. In video 5, you will see how I do this individually, like the snare, the hi-hat, the kick, what I do to get the kick to punch through. But this is the concept. And the concept of what I'm going to be doing in video 5, let me give it to you right now, is the individual element, you want to make sure they have their own frequency spot. And they're also out of the way of the vocal, because the vocal is the most important thing. The vocal is what's telling the story. So we want your snare especially and your hi-hat to get out the way of the vocal. So the snare punch, you want to put it in a frequency where it doesn't mess with your vocal. Hi-hat is the same way. So that's all for video 3. Then video 4, we're going to be talking about the music, how to get the music to sit with the whole, picture together with the vocals and everything. So see you in video 4. Bowman Solomon, make better sounding record. I'm about to show you how I was able to get this mix to sound from sounding like this to sounding like this. Welcome back. This is Bowman Solomon, music producer, mix engineer. This is video 4. We're going to be talking about mixing the music part of your track to blend with the drums and the vocals. And we're going to start the same way. Set up all your music track and send them to a music bus. And in that music bus, we want to have some color, saturation. I hope you notice that the concept from the beginning is all about adding a lot of colors. And that's what we're doing here again. We're adding color with that saturation again. But in music bus, we want to add vibe. And what I mean by vibe is anything that give the music a little bit of flavor, something that make it like not stand out, but it give you some, some vibe. I don't know how else to describe vibe. Give it some vibe. What are the plugins we use to add vibe to music? Like chorus, flanger, spreader, modulation, and all that stuff. Because we want the music to get out the way of the center. We wanted to get out the way of the center of the lead vocal, the kick, the bass, and so we want the music to just stay out. So we add some plugins like choruses and flanger and phaser, modulation plugin to kind of move the stuff, back and forth on our left and right. And also you want to add like a spreader on your music bus, something to spread the left and right so the music is not in the center. Because the center is left for our lead vocal, kick, bass, and maybe sometimes snares and clap. So another thing I want to add, I'm looking at my note down here, is an EQ or filter. Sometimes you want to have a music that just filter out all the the high end of your music. Another person that does that a lot in their music is Drake Music 40. They do that a lot. So you can filter all the way down to 1K, sometimes 2K, and let the snare, the higher, and the vocal just take that upper higher mid range. You could do that. I do that, often if the music don't really have that much energy up high up there anyway. And even if it does, you could just use it as an effect. Maybe in the verse section, you just want to filter everything out and bring it back for the chorus so that high end come out. You could do that too. So we add color, we add some vibe with the chorus, and also you can add vibe with the vinyl sound. That's another stuff that's popular right now. Make something vinyl and add some like beat reduction to kind of make it sounds lo-fi. A lot of people are doing that right now. That's another way to add vibe. And also, another cool way to add vibe is throw all the music stuff in a big reverb. In a big room, a reverb plugin or a chamber. Don't be afraid, man. Throw everything in there. Like, let him give you that vibe and spread them out. You gotta be bold when you're trying to create something that invoke emotion from people. And this is how you do it. This is the secret right here. So spread them out, throw them in the reverb or a room or a chamber, have some color, saturation, filter, and EQ. You golden. I'm telling you. You do what I'm telling you, your mixes, by this time, your mixes should already been sounding pro. And once you get to the video 5, I'm gonna show you how I do it, like on the door. That's crazy. So this crash course is it's the bomb. I wish I had this when I was studying my mixing. So number 5, we're gonna get into that technical know-how and everything. So let me see if I cover everything on here. Color, vibe, spreader, filter, vibe. Okay. So if you have any question, reach out to me on my one-on-one mixing class, or join my Facebook Mix Better Record. I think that's the name of Facebook. Join the group. I like to talk to you. Share some knowledge and break some bread or something, whatever. So this is Bowman Solomon, Make Better Sound Record. This is Bowman Solomon. This is video 5. It's the last video. It's been fun, man, hanging out with you guys. I hope you learn something from all these videos, and your mix right now should already be getting better. So let me start with a little story. Like, why do you need this education? For me, I don't know about you, but I can only talk from my own perspective. I grew up as a musician. I played like 3 instruments, and when I started producing, I quickly realized that something was wrong. Like, I would make music, back then I had like a keyboard, like a PSI Yamaha keyboard. I would make music on there, write the songs and produce the artist, then go to the studio and they will upload those songs into the, the ADAT machine back then, because I started in the analog, believe it or not. So they will upload into the ADAT machine or the multi-track over there, and you have to change the MIDI tones and find different tones. Then I did that a couple of times, but like every time, when it all said and done and we get the music back on the CD, they were seeding back then, they would write the CD out. I'm like, man, I don't like this. Like, the vision in my head, it's not the way it came out. And quickly I realized that something is wrong with the mixing, man. Like, what is this mixing all about? It's like a freaking voodoo or magic. No one knows what goes on. And we'll pay these engineers to do the mix for us, the one that's popular back then. This was Nigeria, by the way. And, we wouldn't get the song to sound the way it was supposed to. And because of that, I started, slowly trying to learn the craft, the mixing. And fast forward to 2005, when I moved to the United States of America. And I moved to LA, and I had a studio in LA, in Burbank, California, recording artists, had a production team, and we started, sending songs for placement with the major labels, artists, and all that. And boom, we got to connect to meet with this guy called Big John Platt. If you don't know him, Google him. It's a big guy. He signs Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, Drake, and a bunch of other people. He has a publishing company. I think now it's like the CEO of maybe EMI or another big record label now. So that's the once in a lifetime opportunity. I was sitting in his office with my partner, and I was thinking to myself, wow, this is amazing. He had a speaker in his office that's like as tall as me. He's like feet tall. And he's tall too. So we sat down in his office and he grabbed his laptop. We gave him as a USB. I had all the song from our team. And he just plug it in and it started to play. Like, listen. We play another one and listen. And he said, check this out. So he just went on his laptop. Boom. It sent one of the songs, emailed one of the songs to Jay-Z. I was like, what? Then he played the other ones and it's like, check this out. Email another one to Beyonce. I'm like, what? In my mind, I'm like, wow, my life is about to change. Let me go start checking out a Ferrari or something. I was super excited. I'm like, well, this is it. So, the meeting went so well, and, we left the meeting, and, while we're working at the office, they said, he called his secretary. He said, could you book me an appointment to go check out the studio, 2 weeks from now? I want to come down there to your ball bank studio and check out what you guys doing. I'm like, oh yeah, this is amazing. I started feeling good. And 2 weeks came. Nothing. 1 month, nothing happened. 2 months, nothing happened. If you've been in the game, you know, when you don't get that call back, you don't get the call back. So, this has happened to me and my team over and over again. If you've been in the industry, you know that getting a placement with major label artists is like crazy. Then I start to do like a self-check of myself, because I like to criticize myself. As a producer and artist, we are our own worst critic. And also as a perfectionist, I always like to get things to sound perfect, So I look at my stuff like, okay, I like the production. I like the songwriting. The only thing I don't like is the mixing. So that was the motivation, believe it or not. I don't know what your motivation is why you came onto this, class. But that was the motivation for me. And after getting a bunch of no's, or the no callback, over and over again, I decided I have to do something about this mixing. And that was the beginning of my journey. That's why I just stopped recording more songs. I stopped producing more songs. I'm like, enough is enough. And I started mixing like crazy. I went all scientific, and I came out on the other side, a victor. And when I did this mix that I put in this course, I told myself, I'm super excited about this mix. I'm like, I love this mix. I really wish people out there can get this information and do something with it, I could imagine if I had this education that I'm giving you guys, when I was, in those times when I was trying to get a placement, I have no doubt that, my placement now numbers would have gone up. And by the way, now I have some, placement on TV. I have 2 Grammy nominations, and it was because of, being able to figure out this mixing stuff. And I know this education can bless a lot of people out there. Hence the reason why I put this together. So. My name is Bumi Solomon. I'm a music producer. I have 2 Grammy nominations, and I work with a whole bunch of artists from Beyonce, Rihanna, Ray J, T-Pain, Soul Super Sam, McKenna Davis, Z-Money, and a whole bunch of other people like that. I'm about to show you how I was able to get this mix to sound from sounding like this to sounding like this. That's the session right there. The music, the drums. How would you get your beat to sound like a pro? I figured out how to get my beat to sound professional. This is like a roadmap. How did we get this vocal to sound like this? Doing it right. Think that it'd be cool if I roll through in a Benzo. Make sure situation is cool, no window. Take you on the whole show on the low, you know though. your beat cannot crack these phone speakers or any other little speakers that you can find, you're ready to take an L. Your kick is the most important thing. It's the concept that matters. I hope you enjoy these courses. Stay tuned. Boomin Solomon, make better sounding record.